It's good to see you guys. I'm way proud of the staff and their efforts, our recruiting department, and our full-time coaches to find the talent that we found, the quality of people that we found, and to get them across the finish line. You know, I think with just nowadays, and you look at our situation and kind of where we were and where we're at now, and all of it kind of tenuous. Very appreciative and blessed to be with the quality people that we have here, and their ability to connect and their ability to recruit. Very impressed with our group of young men that are coming in. Their quality of character and their ability to perform on the field, I think, is very strong, and is something that we're going to get to here really quick. You know, in talking to them this morning, the excitement and the ability to kind of take the next step as a program is something that they see, and is something that they want to be a part of and have their imprint on, and I'm all for that, you know, and so I'm looking forward to that day, and so just proud of the whole thing. It's you know, to get it to this point is something that should be celebrated. Take any questions you guys got.
Was there any one position that you felt like you really needed to maybe kind of go after or load up on?
Receiver and linebacker. You know, I think both those spots were losing some depth at, and I thought receiver-wise, you know, we've got guys that could play outside, we've got guys that can play inside, and so there's really good tools and options there in terms of the guys coming in. And then linebacker-wise, I think, you know, is really, really strong in terms of talent and in terms of guys that can run and hit. You know, I think our running back group is a really strong group. You take those two and put those two versus anyone in the country in terms of two guys coming in. I think our linebacker group is close to that as well.
You mentioned the work that your staff did, I guess, to pull in this recruiting class. Did you envision that with the new coordinators coming in, that it would be this successful?
You know, we've talked about this some. The ability to kind of get in the game, I think for the longest time, we weren't in the game. And, you know, you look no further than me for that, you know. And so to kind of get in the game, I think is probably the biggest thing. I think that enables the recruiters to recruit. You know, a couple years ago, you were talking, and all of it would, you know, the NIL and all of it would come later down the line, almost at the finish line. And we're at the stage now where that gets you into talking. You know, that gets you into the door. And so I think it was overdue on my fault, on my part, and then much needed. And then the ability to have the recruiters that can now finish and close, I think, you know, showed itself with this class.
How much did the good finish, how much did that
Strong.
help put this class to bed?
Very much so. Yeah, I think just about everybody is waiting for us to prove it, waiting for us to show everybody. Yeah, and so I think, you know, there is always this. I'm sure a lot of that's, you know, I mean, that's everybody. That's, you know, people in this room right now, you know. And so I think like I can think of countless guys that want all of this to be true, want the relationships, want the quality people, want everything that Baylor offers. They want all of it to be, you know, they want all of that, and then to be a real effective winning team. And so they want all of it, and they were pushing for it and rooting for it. And so to finally see it, and then to see that, hey, I can be a part of it and take it to a next step, I think is something they were all very much waiting for.
What was it like when you were 2-4 and you went out on the trail that week? Like, what kind of reception were you almost having to kind of explain, hey, it's coming kind of thing?
Yeah. That was probably the toughest time. We had some of our top guys, looking around, and everyone wants a spot to, what is it, insurance? Everybody wants insurance, and so that was the time where all of that was happening. I think when you're in the building, though, you know that it's turning. You can see it. We're so close, and all of it. And so, when you get out on the outside, and then maybe you're trying to make eye contact, and people don't make eye contact with you, and you try to catch their eyes and where they're at, then it kind of hits you that I see now. I see it, because in the building you just felt, man, we're so close. We're right there, right? And so I think the ability to kind of have that inside enabled us to take it outside. And I think the guys saw that.
To be able to have 75% of your signees today be from Texas, how good is it to really dominate in state?
Well, it's good to be able to have the relationships, to be able to recruit in state. And, just the quality of football that's played here, the coaching that's here, the development that's here, and then, just the lineage. Right, and so there's guys that have come from schools where we've recruited a fair amount of. There's guys that maybe we haven't recruited there recently, and we want to be able to start something. And so I think all of those things you can parlay into a history and a tradition, and we need to be able to do that. Just being where we are in the state, and just so centrally located, there's a bunch of moms and dads who are going to be able to come watch their boy play.
You mentioned giving a lot of props to your staff. How much energy has Coach Keenan Hall, brought to this group, and how much of his fingerprints are on this class?
There's a fair amount. I think I can remember in December talking about with some of the staff there about how we're going to be able to have to open up our recruiting. It's going to take money. It's going to take a recruiter. We're going to have to get more skill and speed on our commit list, and we're going to have to open this whole thing up. And so, working to get to where NIL is really competitive was a part of that, and then getting someone that can identify and bring in that skill and talent was the other part. And Keenan fit the bill for us, and he's been loyal. He's been way effective in communication and partnership with other coaches, bringing guys along, and has been a guy that I think, the best is yet to come from him. I think the running back room and what they did this past year only shows what he can do on the field and off.
With such a strong signing day and having a strong season, do you kind of feel this is the start of what's to come for the future for Baylor Bears?
Well, I think it shows what happens when you believe in people, and I think it shows what is possible. There's a whole lot more that is possible. I think the recruiting where it is now, we want to take the next step, and we're aiming to do that with this next class and the transfer class that's going to come along with it. And we want to be competitive in more spaces and more elite spaces. And then, football-wise, I think we're going to have a really good bowl game coming up, and we'll see who that opponent is. But that's for sure a game that we want to win, be competitive, and have something that our fans can cheer us on for. And so, anything that comes in front of us, our aim is to win it.
You made the pivot to Edward Griffin from Coppell. What were you? Had you already been thinking about him? Was he kind of in the pipeline? And then when you decided, hey, we need to go this direction, what was it about him that really stood out to you?
Yeah, he's the complete package. And so I think when that time came, sitting down with Spav and kind of going through, hey, there's a few guys right here that kind of fit the bill, but no one fitted as completely as Edward did. And, he was on his official visit, and we have a breakfast at the house on Sunday, and when he left, my girls were there, and they just loved his family, They loved his mom, and just we couldn't. They're going to miss their exit time. They couldn't get them from talking, and so it was just such it was hit off from the beginning. It was such a fit, and then when you watch them play our game, right? His study habits, his attention to detail, he's almost he's almost a machine when it comes to it. And I think he's a self-starter in that sense. And so the on the field, off the field combo is way strong with him. And in the past, you have guys like that. That's a dude that pushes other dudes to be better. So I'm excited for that. Excited to see that.
A couple other programs pushed for Caleb Burns. What does it mean to get him, and how does he fit into that linebacker group?
Yeah, he's someone that can read and react and change direction. If there's like a wide zone going this way and there's push on the front and it bends, he can stick his foot in the ground, redirect, and then get his hips to roll and drive the guy back. That's a very underrated skill. There's a lot of times it's hard to do that. Your hips are high. It's a 6-yard gain. I think you saw some of that on the Saturday, our last game. And so he can do that pretty easily. You can blitz him, and he can win one-on-ones. You can have him cover their best back and a tight end, and you don't have to worry about the matchup. And so he is very easily weaponized. And, I think it's a linebacker that's really what you need. But he brings a bunch of skill and a bunch of instincts into a position and a system that is going to maximize that. And so I think at the end of the day, he saw that. I think the relationship with Jamar Chaney, I think, was central. I think Jamar's done a great job. Cabrion and Trent are two others that really make a really strong class. Really proud of Jamar and his efforts and his ability to connect and really show what Baylor can offer.
Dave, you mentioned the transfer portal earlier. Just one of the, I guess, only one Alvin that I've seen that's entered the transfer portal. What does that mean, just kind of speaking of the culture of the team? And then where do you hope to attack the transfer portal, at least on your team?
Yeah, we wish Alvin the best. I know Alvin has been in, for the success of this year, I think Alvin, he wants to start and he wants to kind of be in a central kind of starring role, and I want that for him too. He feels he can do that somewhere else, so we all wish him the best and want the best for him. I think as far as our team, we're looking to aid in our defensive secondary. We've got to replace some key opponents in the defensive front. I think we're going to need to be able to bring in a receiver, and we're going to need to be able to add some depth on the O-line. So those would be the key points.
Someone like Jackson Blackwell, who is a local kid, grew up a Baylor fan, all that. How important is it to kind of keep the Central Texas kids kind of close to home?
Very strong. I think it's kind of the first time, really, we've been able to do that, despite efforts in the past. And probably the thing I'm most proud of is that. And there's a lot of effort into it, and was very competitive with Jackson, and love his family and love everything that he's about. And he's such a great fit here. I think off the field and on the field, I think the system fits him. He is someone that is going to grow into like a captain type role. You can just see it, and he's someone that can probably play sooner rather than later too. And so I'm excited for him. I think once he gets here, he's just going to take off. And so to be able to, that was a Dennis Johnson thing, and then a Enoki Breckterfield thing, and all of it is all that praise is well deserved. He's going to have a great career here.
Dave, the two offensive linemen out of Mississippi, I'm guessing were those connections maybe that Coach Miller had before? Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, and I think the ability there is there's a bunch of talent there in that state that their best years are ahead of them, and there's a love of football there. There is kind of a rawness that can be kind of developed and honed in all of it. And then, you're talking about just Coach Miller that knew about these guys, and Mason had an idea of kind of where they were at in their particular development. And when he came calling, they came right on. We had to build one of them was committed somewhere else, and we had to get him with us. And so all of that during the summer was was a heavy lift when there wasn't much to show in terms of running game or offensive production at all. And so a lot of credit to Coach, and then they both had really successful seasons, and excited for their development here with us.
With Taz and Camoran,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, best friends kind of recruiting for you. How much has that been a help, and what do you see them bringing to the program?
Yeah, when that happens, you can go from kind of being uncool to being cool again, when you kind of get out the way and let the cool kids do it, And so I think that's really what was happening there. And their leadership within the class is something I'm very appreciative and thankful for. It's something I talked to both of them about this morning when we were talking. Their ability to make plays and their academic prowess, and all of it is strong. Their leadership is really the number one thing, and they led this class from the minute they jumped in.
The DFW corridor, I mean, it seems like it's just been huge for you. I know Keenan's help there. How much of a priority was that? Hey, we can just keep building on that.
Yeah, it's very strong. I mean, that from the beginning, that was when we were talking earlier about getting more skill in playmakers. That's the area, and so the money was important. The recruiter was important, and then I think the relationships. I think that to really double down on the relationships that I think we have in that area. I think the currency was, hey, we have a system that you can see, your player be productive in, right? There's a system here where you can catch, 80 balls, and you can catch over 1,000 yards, and you can catch 10 touchdowns, and you can run for over 1,000 yards, and all these other things. And so I think that's probably the third piece that we needed to really unlock that area, was the offensive system. And then we could, sell it, use it, and then multiply it.
Dave, kickers don't always get scholarships before they come in. Was that a priority? And
He's
I guess
really
does
good.
it speak to how good he is?
He's really good. Yeah, he came on, he was at a summer camp, and, all the kids are there kicking, and yeah, his kicks are just different. I don't know how else to say it. His kicks are different. You could see the boys that were catching all the kicks, they all backed up when he got there, and you're just watching it, and it's one after the other. And I don't know that much about kicking, but I know what I saw right there, and then just the quality of person that he is, and he's going to be a leader on this team with just his heart and his love for Baylor. And so we hit a home run with that one. I'm way excited about him. He is going to be a weapon for us.
You've been pretty honest with your, behind you, that you were kind of maybe behind a little bit when it comes to NIL and the transfer portal early on. Do you feel at all like you're catching up? Like, do you feel now more prepared to enter into the changing world of college sports, if that makes sense?
I do, yeah. I think and I've probably mentioned this before, and I don't know, I probably don't do a good job of explaining it. The concern always to me was just the transactional nature of all of it, and not so much, not at all that kids would get money, and not at all that, we're paying players or any of it. It's just that, now, you could get to where coaches are thinking, hey, I can buy this kid, I can sell this kid, I can get rid of this kid. is that that's where it's headed, you know? And so I just didn't want to, I'm not a fan of that at all. And you can sense that. I mean, that's kind of what our game is right now. And it's slowly happening. And so it's like, you know, the hesitation from getting into it is I didn't want to become that, you know? But that's our game. And so you have to find a way to kind of be in all of that, but not be doing all of that. And that's very hard, you know? And so, but yeah, I mean, we've got total support now. We're as strong as anyone out there. And so, yeah, we coming.
You still have walk-ons? I mean, that's another thing that's changing.
Yeah.
And you guys have had success in that area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a shame. It's not something that, you know, I agree with, or, you know, I just think the walk-ons just give such a heart and soul, such a, you know, it's more than just the purity of it. It's like, I look at like what Mike Allen did when he spoke to the team before the Tech game. I think only really Mike could have that talk, and probably only a walk-on could have that talk, you know? Someone that has earned everybody's respect, and then someone that's had to do the heavy lift by himself with no one looking all the time, right? If you do that long enough, people start to notice, and then there's a respect that comes, and then you can say the words that matter, you know? He did that, and you look at the, you know, the Caleb Parker, Jacob Redding, we got a fair amount of guys that have fought through and are competing and doing all of it, and so it's just a huge part of it. And so we've got to be able to find a way to be able to treat those guys right and make it right for them for the sacrifices they gave for us. I imagine a lot of folks in our business are going to try to do that with the rules the way they are now, or what's becoming of it now.
Dave, how do you keep it from being transactional?
You can't let it change you, you know? I just, you know, you get competitive and you want to win stuff, and so then you get angry, and then you want to like get back at this or get back at that and show this and get this, and then people kind of become your pawns in that, and then you lose the fact that that's even happening, and then it's too late, you know? And so you have to kind of, if you're not that way, don't become that way. So there has to be some awareness of it, and that we're here for kids, and we're here to help their experience, plus like earn money for the school, plus have bragging rights for the alumni, plus win all these games, you know? And so I just think as long as you keep the focus on the kids and who they're becoming, then you won't slip to the transactional part of it, but it's very hard to do, especially when you want to win everything.
Kind of going along those lines, you know, Big 12 Media Days,
Mm-hmm.
that the We Pay Players stuff, you know, is now the time where Baylor, I guess, is most open for business, would you say?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I guess that's probably one way to put it. You know, I think we're looking to take the next step, right? We're looking to win this next game. We're looking to have a real successful off season. We're looking to get some of these young players ready to go in spring ball and whatever transfer portal additions we have. And we're looking to really start next year really strong. I think we want to be on the incline here. And so that just takes every day, you know, trying to win that day, and every day, you know, looking for a fight. And so that's the attitude very much within that building.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, guys.
Dave.